Okay. Okay. So we had a challenge this last week. Did anybody get a chance to do our little challenge? Yes, Sarah, yay. Barb,
Okay.
yay. I managed to get one done too, so that's fun. Do we have anything that we want to discuss before we start sharing our little videos?
I do have a question about ratio sizes. Recently, I went back to a movie I had done on turning black and white to color. And I wanted to make all of those photos, make sure all those photos in 16:9 ratio. And in doing that, I noticed when I'm looking at it from my computer and projecting it on the TV, there were a couple of photos that cut off what I was actually seeing on my computer screen. Now I've checked the TV and it says it's at the 16:9. And I'm just wondering why that happens. I did give it to one of the men that's in the camera club here in Indiana that I go to. And on his TV, in fact, I asked him to specifically watch that and told him which pictures. One of them, it was cutting off the toes of this model, okay? And another, it was cutting off a letter up in the corner. So he watched it on his TV, he watched it on his iPad, and he said he didn't have that problem. And so does anybody know why that would be happening where some TVs, well, ours, would be cutting that off and trying to keep that ratio?
And when you were making the movie, you did a fill on the picture and then adjusted it so you know that you had all of the pieces that you wanted, because it's going to cut off stuff.
Most of them, and maybe that's something I need to check, most of the pictures I switched, I actually went to the original picture and changed it to the 16:9 ratio.
So you've already cut it off. It's in other words, in iMovie, there's no getting any of it back or recomposing or anything like that, because you've already cut it the way you wanted.
Yes, so it was just dropping that picture in the timeline.
Yeah.
But you have a good point. There might have been a couple that I actually did in the fit mode within the iMovie. Would that be possibly be a difference?
I don't know. I can't explain why it would show correctly on one device and not correctly on another. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious if anybody has experienced that. The gentleman in the camera club here had mentioned it might be our TV isn't set to the right ratio. But
it's possible.
I did check that and it says it's at the 16:9. Okay.
So hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian, and here's the elusive Kevin.
Any other discussions before we start our little video shares? Okay, who would like to go first?
Well,
thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
You want to restate this the
challenge?
Challenge?
Okay, yeah. So our challenge was to do a 2-minute or less video that incorporated slow motion and or the speed up one. I forget what that's called.
Time lapse.
The time lapse, yeah. And whatever subject we wanted to do it on. So that was the challenge. Okay. Do you want to
Well-
tell us a little about yours, Sarah?
Yeah, I did one that includes a few still pictures, but mostly slow motion video. There's one video clip that is regular speed, and I think you'll be able to tell which one it is. First of all, I thought this was a really fun assignment. I really enjoyed it, and it hasn't been too long since I did a show, and so therefore I remembered how to do one better this time. And the video clips kind of make the time go quicker, and so it didn't take as much work to put this together as a normal like show with all stills. You may want to turn down your volume on your computers. I got a little carried away with some of the music, so you could use your judgment on that. This is about our 9-year-old grandson named William. Some of you may have heard of William the Conqueror in French history, but this is William the Wonderful, okay? And just a note that you will see that he at no time wears a helmet or knee pads, but he assured Grammy that he never does do that in his own driveway, and it's okay with his mother. So here we go, hopefully. Oh dear.
You just need to stop sharing and go back and start over.
Yeah, I'm coming back into the Zoom meeting. Let's see here. I think I clicked on share one too many times. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're actually still connected with us. So that
Really?
one screen that you were doing, you can just minimize.
Okay,
Yeah, just minimize that.
okay. There's that and there's that.
So now what we have is a black, oh, there we go. Now we're good. Now minimize that one as well. Just,
Okay.
yeah, go up. Yeah. just
I
up to
think
the
I
top.
clicked share too many times.
Well, go ahead and minimize that. Okay, now we can see it.
You can see
make
my
it-
screen?
Yeah, make it full screen.
Uh-huh.
The double arrow there at the bottom, I believe will make it full screen. And now we can play.
Okay, here we go.
Our grandson William is a really fun guy. And like most boys, he loves to be active. Want to take a little break from skateboarding, William? Okay, rest period's over.
Yeah, just go up to the stop share. Perfect. That was really fun.
Good job, Sarah.
Thank you.
That was so fun.
And you
Anything
had a
for
happy
grandchildren.
participant.
Yeah, he was happy to show off.
Yes.
Good subject to use for slow motion.
Right.
Any suggestions on either better in ways of photographing it in the first place or using it in a show?
I don't have suggestions. I thought it was fun. Does your on your phone, so you've got the iPhone, right? And so do you have different speeds of slow motion available, or you just click on slow motion, or?
Well,
Yes.
that's an interesting question. I think Grace may have the fancy phone. I have the iPhone 12 Pro, but not the Pro Max. And as far as I know, there's just the one speed. Now I'm going to take a look.
I think there are two.
Really? Mine just says slow mo, and then there's time lapse, and then there's regular video, and that's it. Now on, yeah. But anyway, I had
Mine has two.
You do? Okay.
And that's just the 11, that's just the 11 Pro. So it's basically the same as yours.
I'll have to investigate a little further then.
Mine has 120 frames per second and 240 frames per second. And I think somebody in our audience here can explain which we should use and how each one is affects the picture differently, because I'm not really clear on that.
Okay, I'm looking up in the right corner of my phone in the slow-mo setting, and it says 720p and then dot 240.
Right, touch it. It may give you another one.
Ah, there we are. Okay, so it does, yeah, it says HD 120.
Right. And
Okay.
yeah, and you can set those which one you want initially in the settings under camera.
Okay. Well, here's one thing, and maybe I did something goofy, but I shot a bunch of scenes with William a week or so ago, and in slow motion. And then I downloaded them or imported them to the computer, and they were all regular speed. They all played regular speed, every one of them. And so then I tried, let's see. So then I shot them regular speed and then imported them to the computer. I did this yesterday, as a matter of fact, on the second batch. And then I edited them and changed them to slow-mo. Now, I remember Kevin saying that it's better quality to shoot in slow-mo rather than change them to slow-mo. So that's why I did it that way to begin with. But I did not have luck importing them and having them show up slow-mo. I don't get it.
Okay, so when you imported them, did you play it all the way through? Because at the beginning of slow motion, it will be the regular speed, then it slows it down, and then at the end, it gives you back regular speed. So you have to cut the ends off.
Okay, I'll look at that again. Maybe that was it. But I was thinking that the whole thing most of them just played regular whole way through.
Okay.
So I'll look at it
Check all the
another.
way.
Yeah, I'll check, each one of them and see if that was what happened.
Right. For whatever reason, they start off regular speed and then slow it down after about a couple seconds.
Like 2 seconds. Well, and in processing these to use in the show, I ended up cutting off trimming a lot of the beginnings and the endings to make it fit. And so, that wouldn't have been a problem if that was what had happened with it. Yeah, I could spare that. So I'll check that. Thank you.
Okay, next.
I can show mine. I just learned something about the video because I had the regular speed at the beginning of my video and regular speed at the end. I don't shoot much video at all. Most of my photography is still shots. So this is pretty new to me to be doing this. So I guess I was kind of surprised because I don't use slow-mo. I'm thinking, well, why is it regular speed at the beginning? So that is just a feature on the phone, and that will always happen. So if you're wanting to capture something in slow motion, you need to start it ahead of where you want that slow motion. Okay, so it isn't a setting that I have that was doing that. That's just the way the phone takes.
It's the way it does it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that was totally new to me. My subject, if any of you saw my Carmel, Indiana video that we did, I don't know, last summer or something. This is same subject that I used in that video of roundabouts in our city. So let me see, share. Am I sharing?
I think so.
Okay.
You've got some black spots that are grayed out. I'm thinking that you might want to go out and come in again and see if
Okay.
you can get rid of those. And you're clicking those two buttons for the sound and the optimized video?
They are clicked.
Okay, great. Okay. Let's just try.
Do I click on my movie first before sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then pause it.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we've got great bars at the top.
Should we see if they try and play it and see if those
They
bars
might.
go away, or does anyone else have a suggestion?
Did they go away?
No,
No, they're still there.
they represent the little controls for Zoom.
Oh,
Okay. So you're not seeing a black screen ready to be played.
Yeah.
most
Yes,
of
we
them,
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I try playing it then, or you're going to see grays?
Try playing it and see if it's annoying. Oh, then.
Okay.
That was fun.
Okay. Now, obviously, I took a different approach. I was the one moving in a car, and the subject was still. So that was obviously different than Sarah's, where she was making a slow motion of action.
Yeah. That was,
You went all the way around both of those, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that's too long. I wouldn't typically use something like that long in a regular movie or anything. I was just trying.
Yeah.
That's way too long for the subject and stuff. And I understand that. It's just, I was just playing with the camera, with the phone, and just trying to learn how to use the slow.
Were you in the back seat with it out the window?
Out the window. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
So if you were going to cut that, I would say you start when the I lost a word there. The people in the center statues, kind of come out from behind a tree and then go behind a tree in some way so that you get them full size, because right on doesn't show you too much.
Yes.
But there were really nice places where they were silhouetted against the sky.
Mhm. Okay.
That's great. That was awesome. Thank you. Any other comments or anything to Barb? Okay, I'll share the one I did. We were going to Nogales to see my dentist. And so now I'm working with a Samsung S10, an Android. So I did find that it has a slow motion feature. I found that it was incredibly slow. I also bought one of those gadgets, Grace, that you demonstrated last week. So I got one of those so I could sit it on the top of my dashboard. I washed my windshield. It still had reflections and spots that showed up. But I was making an effort here. And so that, and anyway, I ended up, though, I had to cut out, like it was so slow, like 1 minute of recording was like 10 minutes. I mean, when I put it into my software, when I downloaded it to make the video. So anyway, I ended up cutting most of it out, but it didn't, so my Android did not do what yours does. When I set it on slow-mo, it's instantly slow-mo. It didn't start regular or anything like that. So it went right into Premiere Elements. Just, I didn't have any of those weird surprises.
Yeah. Good to know.
Pardon?
Good to know.
Yeah. And then I also had on my phone, it was called Hyperlapse. So, so I tried that. It was really fast. Anyway, it was fun. So I'll go ahead and share screen. Oh, you know what I want? Okay. Screen, share sound, optimize, share. Boom. 2-minute challenge.
That was fun. I like the ending.
Yeah. My husband thought that I could have, it was too short. So that was kind of fun. I says, well, good. It's good to leave you wanting, you know. But anyway. Do we have any other comments or, oh, yeah, I'm open. Okay. Are there more to share?
Well, we might have had something if we'd been in town and known about it, so.
Can try to answer Grace's question if you can hear me all right.
We can hear you.
Good. I'm calling from the car, that's why. I want to just make sure. Grace was asking about 120 frames per second and 240 frames per second. And the higher that number is, the slower the action will be that you'll be shooting. So the more you can kind of freeze the action that's going on. So at 120, normally a video camera shoots 30 frames per second. So at 120, you're really slowing stuff down. And then if you go to 240, you really can freeze that action. So if you had somebody swinging a golf club or hitting a baseball, some action like that, the faster the better for some of those things. Now, the other quick goodie, Sarah had asked about why when she imported the video and it wasn't in slow motion. Sarah, I had the same issue. You remember what I did
You're
to
breaking up.
solve
here.
that problem? Yeah, well, just to say, I had that same issue, Sarah. I'll see if I can look it up to try to figure out what I had done to solve that problem.
Okay, do you think it's the phone versus a camera?
That you're having the issue when you import it, that it's not showing in slow motion.
Right.
I think it just has to do with, from what I remember, there was, the way I was importing it, I think was an issue, but I'll have to check on that for you. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Back to driving.
Yeah, please.
Anyone else have one to share or more discussion? Oh dear. Any other videos? Oh, Brian? Can't hear you at all.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Very, very low.
How about now?
Yay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll try to put something together for next week. We were out of town and didn't know about this one, so we'll see what we can do. And while we have the floor, we would like to extend a thanks to Ron Stein. Somebody here has to have heard the old advice that if you're going someplace where you could be out of touch, that you should leave a point of contact behind with information on where you went in case you don't come back when you thought you were going to. Ron functioned in that role for us. And when we got out of the hills, we gave him a call and let him know we were okay. But if we hadn't been back by 6 p.m. Sunday night, he had a list of numbers and things to do to get us help if we might have needed it. So many thanks to Ron. And it's if you're going to go someplace off the beaten track, we highly recommend it as a safe practice, especially when there's no cell phone.
Hmm.
So
Great,
good idea.
great idea.
Thank you. How was your trip?
hot. It's a beautiful area. It has spectacular scenery. It's going to take a little bit to put the photos and video together, but it's definitely on the list of places to go back to. Incredibly hot though. It was, of course, we had a heat wave come on while we were up there, and there's a lot of white rock. So it was like being at the beach, just standing out there with long sleeves on and big broad brim hats. You got sunburn on your face from the reflected sunlight. Well, Susan didn't because she wears sunscreen and I don't, but I was pretty red in the face after one day. No, it's a lovely area. Highly recommend it. Although if you're going to take a guide out there, we found out from one guide service we talked to that takes you out there, you spend the night, you drive back the next morning, $650 per person. Yahoo, business was good. They told us that before the pandemic, they maybe took one, maybe two trips a month out there. Every day now. The place is, it won't be long before the BLM starts a permit lottery system for this, like they're already doing for the wave. From the high ground in this spot, you can see the hills where the wave is, so that gives you an idea of location.
Wow. So how many days did you spend out there?
Oh, we got 2.5 days. And
It took
then,
you a whole day to get there and back?
well, yeah, it's you can do it in one long day, but we drove up and stayed at a campground on the low ground at Lee's Ferry the night before to give us plenty of time to get in, but it wasn't bad.
We had to because of the road.
Yeah, the road is not one to drive in the dark. It doesn't look bad, but we tried going off the beaten path at one point, and we made it a quarter mile before we were stuck.
Stuck.
Stop.
10,000 pounds of stuck.
Yeah.
And you had a shovel with you? And
Well, actually, a shovel won't do you much good in that, but there are off-road techniques that you can use to get yourself unstuck. And all of the videos that are on the YouTube of people that get stuck out there, these are generally people that, hey, this sounds neat. Let's go out there. After all, I've got a Subaru Forester. And they don't air down their tires, and they've got low clearance, and they don't know what to do. And they end up stuck in the sand, and somebody has to help them out. But
Car parts.
yeah, we saw lots of car parts along the trail. So, any rate, we'll be putting together a film on that.
look forward to it.
Any trips coming?
Anybody have any trips coming up? Anybody going anyplace?
The end of July, well, we're going to the Galapagos. It looks like that's all still on.
Oh, we need to
Wow.
talk. We need to talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going this next weekend to see my grandson. And well, actually, I wanted to see my daughter because she's pregnant with her second child, but because of COVID, I haven't seen her pregnant. So she's due at the end of June. So I'm going to fly out so I can see her pregnant before she has the baby. And then to see she's got a 2-year-old son. So I'm going to see him. So I'll be out there this weekend. And so Grace will be hosting this for us on Monday because I won't be here next Monday. I'll be with them.
I do have it on my calendar, and
Yeah.
I think I know where to find the login stuff, but I will, yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
fun.
so- But yeah, mostly I've just got a lot of babies coming in June. Well, 2 babies coming in June, but that's a lot.
I'm going to try to get to the coast in the next 2 weeks. I gotta have a road trip on my new car. And I'm not gonna do any sand driving like Brian. Because you're not allowed to drive on the beach here. Anyway, so that's
Well,
a good.
go up to Washington. You can drive on the beach there.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying I want to. Actually, there are a few little sections, but technically in Oregon, the beach is a state highway. Yeah, but
Wow.
I believe it's considered a state highway, but you're not supposed to drive on it. And of course, in Oregon, you can't refuse access to the beach by anybody. So everybody has access to the beach if it's accessible in that location. So that's a nice thing. But I think a road trip is warranted.
So which beach are you going to?
Well, Cannon Beach for sure, because that's our favorite.
Yeah.
And we don't know, probably go to Tillamook and up, but we'll see. Yeah.
You have to get ice cream at Tillamook or a chunk of cheese.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They have a very nice interpretive center there at the Cheese Works at Tillamook. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for me.
Our
Other
trips
than-
all seem to be going to the doctor.
Oh yeah, I got one of those this afternoon. Brian, it's an echocardiogram.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah, no stress test with this one this time.
Well,
But I had an angiogram a couple of weeks ago.
Mm.
Those are by a CAT scan, so it wasn't the traditional run the wire up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Results were good, so
Yay.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
yeah. So much for medical stuff. We've been having lovely, lovely weather here in Oregon, way too early in the season. And we're almost in a drought situation also, as well as other places. But it's supposed to start raining sometime tonight, and maybe that means sprinkles. I don't know.
Tucson hit 100.
Already.
Yep.
Well, I think we've had 5 days of 80, which is high for us at this time of year. Yeah.
Bragging or complaining.
Yeah. Are you bragging or complaining?
Hey, I'm sitting here in a sweater. What do you think?
Oh,
We call that bragging.
Yeah. Well, I have started teaching here at where I'm living now. So Wednesday, the photography club is giving me 45 minutes to start teaching iPhone photography. So we'll see how that goes. It's a small group, but we can invite other people if they're interested. So
Nice.
anyway.
Do you guys want to continue doing some more with this particular challenge, or do we want to do another challenge?
Well, we'll put one together on this challenge for next week. We've already got it mapped out, so you'll have one from us, and if you want to start a new one, go for it. What do you got in mind?
I don't know. I'm looking for ideas. It is fun having a little challenge to work toward. I was certainly motivated, and I was trying, I was definitely trying to keep it simpler and not take so long, because that's it takes so much time, which I love to do. It's just I don't seem to have as much time available to invest. So having a short challenge was really great to be able to pull together, and playing with my new little toy for in my
What, your
car. That,
your gorilla legs?
yeah, the gorilla legs. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think maybe just doing the same one again. I mean, we got to kind of experiment with it a little. I think it would be fun to take it a little bit further, giving ourselves another chance to kind of play with that, because I know for several of us it was new experience to work with. Does that sound okay if we just see if we want to pull together another with that same topic, or I mean that same
Sure.
thing, or do you want to do something different? What do you guys want?
I'm hoping to get something done, maybe, but I don't know that I have the time. But I was gonna say, you said your camera had hyperlapse
Yes.
and time lapse,
No.
or just okay.
hyperlapse.
Hyperlapse, okay. When I did a gimbal class with Apple, they called it hyperlapse when the camera is moving as well as the subject is moving. So in other words, if you are walking with the camera and it's doing time lapse, then it's faster, as opposed to having your camera steady on a tripod or something and having time lapse, and everything is changing, but the camera is steady.
Interesting. Yeah, I was definitely walking because we were walking through the vendors while I had it in the time lapse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't. So you're saying I could set it on time lapse, watching something like with Sarah, watching her, recording her son doing movement. So if I was standing still and clicked it on hyperlapse, then it would treat it differently than when I was.
Well, it's just that it's not as fast,
Mhm.
probably. But it's faster if you're walking. Mine doesn't have a hyperlapse. It doesn't call it that, but that's what the guys at Apple called it when we were out actually walking with it on time lapse.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's hyperlapse it's been around for a number of years, and usually it's a moving camera in time lapse. And it's not like a rail, which is, it moves from here to here and it stops. It's a moving camera that keeps on going. And if any of you have access to the Tom Lowe film called Timescapes, he was one of the first ones to do it on a prolonged scale. And some of the things that he did in that, there were people arguing in the movie theater after how in the world he did that. And it took him a couple of years before he gave up the techniques on some of them. One of the most striking, he mounted the camera on top of his truck and drove it up a road in the middle of the night at 1 mile an hour at very high ISO up the road going to Mount Whitney. And with the stars and the moon shift and everything, it was absolutely stunning. So yeah, basically, if the camera moves and keeps on moving while you're doing time lapse, that's hyperlapse.
So that was what I did when I showed my Gates Pass
Mhm.
little video, because the car was moving and it was on time lapse. So it just made it that much faster.
Yeah, it is much easier in the daylight. The challenge is doing it in the dark.
Well, those are some things we can play around with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anything else? It's a little early, but I guess if we're done, we're done. If you want to keep talking, we can keep talking.
Yeah.
All right, well then I'll sign us off, and I won't see you next Monday, but Grace will, and have a wonderful week making video.
And,
Have fun.
you use the same link as you used to get in to this one. Hopefully, and hopefully I do it right, because I will just log in to that account.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
okay, thank you.
All right,
Okay.
see ya.
You.
Okay, have a good trip.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you.